Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is Wednesday, December 20th, and this is the very first edition of our College Bowl Specials Roundtables that we're going to be doing all bowl season long, hosted by myself and joined by a veritable brain trust of college football handicappers. Today we've got Jimmy the Bag, Big Man on Campus, and Drew Martin, all going to put our heads together to try to find a betting value with just one bowl today, the Frisco Bowl. How you guys all doing? You ready to handicap the hell out of this bowl game?
Can't wait. Looking forward to the Frisco Bowl.
Can you guys hear me?
What a bowl.
Yeah, you sound real good, Pete.
Okay, all right, good. A little bit more enthusiasm, guys. We got a veritable brain trust here. This is a murderer's row of handicappers. Myself, Jimmy the Bag, Big Man on Campus, and Drew Martin. All right, let's get into it. We got just one bowl today. Again, we will be doing this at 12 o'clock Eastern time every day throughout the bowl season, handicapping whatever bowls they put in front of us. Today, just one bowl, right? The Frisco Bowl. It does go at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and it is Louisiana Tech SMU, and it's not quite a standard handicapping situation here. Of course, the big news for this one is that SMU, of course, lost their coach, Chad Morris, who built SMU up from scratch real friggin' fast, left for greener pastures. Now Sonny Dykes is in. Sonny Dykes will be coaching this game. Chad Morris also took most of the offensive coordinators with him, so sort of a weird situation for this bowl game will be that that the players themselves and, the graduate assistants will be running the offense, which of course will be the same offense that they've run all year long. So that's a wacky bowl situation. We do see stuff like this all the time in bowls in general, but this is one is a little bit weird in particular in that the new coach will be there and the players will be guiding the offense. Most of the defensive assistants are all there. So the defense should be the same for SMU. And then Louisiana Tech on the other side, a solid team, a little bit worse offensively than they have been in years past, a little bit better defensively than they have been in years past. So they should give them a pretty solid challenge. And as far as line movements are concerned, there's been clear, modest, but clear line movement in favor of Louisiana Tech. The line opened at SMU -5. It's now down to a 4 or 3.5 at Bookmaker, and a clear, modest, but clear market move to the over. It opened around 68, and now it's all the way up to 71 or 71.5. Although the Greek is still hanging with 70.5 right there. Let's start with Big Man on Campus. Big Man on Campus. See any betting value in this game? What factors do you think are key here?
Yeah, I heard, Peter, you mentioned that all the defensive coaches are still there for SMU. That's kind of sucks. I mean, it would have been nice if they would have left and all the offensive coaches would have stayed, because their defense has been an absolute joke all year. And that's a concern in this game. They have not been able to get stops all year. They've made bad offenses look good. And you look at, like you said, all the issues right now with coaches leaving. Jimmy, I heard before the show, was discussing G.J. Kinney, who's a longtime journeyman in the NFL. He's the grad assistant and going to be the offensive coordinator. Again, there's a lot to like about SMU's offense, but the game plan is concerning here. I've heard that they're going to approach this game like it's the first game of the season, which in a bowl game, especially against a team with a ton of experience in bowl games, plus you have a coach in Sonny Dykes, who he was a coach at SMU or at La Tech, so that's kind of intriguing. There's a lot of weird things in this game, plus the fact that it's a virtual home game for SMU, just 30 miles away. But when you look at the game itself, I just trust La Tech a lot more. I like their defense. They're a really good passing defense. They can stop the run, and I'm concerned about, can this offense continue to roll like it has been? A lot of moving parts in this game, and I'm not sure that La Tech's had any of those. They're going to come into this game, nothing to prove. A fourth bowl game in 4 years. I kind of like the dog in this game, frankly. I'll be interested to hear what the other guys have to say.
How will I know when he stops talking? He stopped talking. All right, Big Man, I'm sure that was a great analysis. I couldn't hear anything you said, but I can guarantee the world that was a great analysis. I'm not sure if they could hear anything you said. I'm sure it was awesome, though. Now let's go to Drew Martin. I can't respond to anything that Big Man just said because I have no clue what Big Man just said. Again, I'm sure it was very insightful. Drew Martin, what do you have to say about this game?
Hey, Pete. No, thanks for having me on this.
I can't hear anything Drew Martin is saying either, but I can guarantee you that this is awesome analysis. Can't hear a damn word he's saying.
Why can't anyone hear?
Awesome. Drew Martin, what do you have to say about this game?
I could hear you, Big Man, and yes,
Okay,
Pete,
good.
he did have good analysis. Big man, you bring up the fact of weird, unique. It makes me really want to go contrarian in this. You bring up the fact that Louisiana Tech, more of a defensive unit, kind of defensive-minded team this year than in years past. You know, we don't have the Louisiana Tech with Case Keenum, Driscoll, or even Sonny Dykes manning the ship. We got more of a defensive focus. They had 16 interceptions on the year. Their best player, Jalen Ferguson, at the defensive end position, he has NFL potential. I think he could disrupt SMU's passing game. I think you bring up good points in that. SMU, on the other hand, I do think going through the whole season, they are the more talented team. They definitely have the more talented quarterback, more talent offensively. Chad Morris does head to supposedly greener pastures. I kind of find it an interesting move that he's heading to the SEC West there. Going to be up against it with Alabama, Texas A&M. That's a story for another day. I would actually look at this one contrarian towards the under. I know a lot of people are going to see Louisiana Tech, going to see SMU, think a lot of points, and it definitely could be it being a bowl game. But I'll tell you guys, I mean, we're seeing 72 now on the SBR odds screen at Bovada. And with Sonny Dykes only having 9-ish days of preparation with this team, he's not having much of a say in what's going on offensively. You guys talked about Brad assistants calling plays. It's not really a system I'm looking to bet on a lot of points. I could get my face ripped off with it going 50-plus points per team, but I'm going to see Louisiana Tech's defense holding them at bay. And Louisiana Tech offensively, their quarterback, Jamar Smith, 6'1", 230 pounds. You're going to see him tonight. He's kind of like a bowling ball. He's not accurate. He's not that great of a passer. I think this stays under 72 points, which you can find at Bovada right now. Pete, I'm sorry. Jimmy, should we just go to you?
Oh, did he stop talking?
Oh, man.
Oh, he stopped talking. All right. Again, I didn't hear a word that Drew Martin said, but I am so confident that what he said was very insightful and probably conferred a good betting value on this game. But again, I can't comment. I can't respond because I have no freaking clue what he said. I also don't read lips, but I can't read. I can't see the screen. Anyway, Jimmy the Bag, though, I was able to hear in the sound test. Jimmy the Bag, maybe you could inform me on, you enlighten me on what Big Man on Campus and Drew Martin had to say, and tell me what you think about this game, Jim.
I will, and this is not a seamless production at this point, but there has been a lot. I'm with Big Man completely. He's on the dog, on the Bulldogs. I am with Drew on the under, but I'm going to just take Tech alone. Yes, the biggest story here is Chad Morris leaving.
I can't hear what he's saying. That's me. That was me from like 10 minutes ago.
The biggest story is Chad Morris leaving. He took all of the brightest minds with him, and then he left J.G. Kinney, who is now taking over things. J.G. Kinney must not be one of the brightest minds that was making moves for this excellent SMU offense. SMU played a much tougher schedule, lost to 3 teams ranked in the top 25. Louisiana Tech didn't play a top 25 team. The 2 teams have one common opponent, which isn't that big of a deal because when SMU destroyed North Texas, it was week 2 of the season. And when Louisiana lost, there were just different points in their schedule. But assuming that Kinney runs this vaunted offense with the same precision as Brown, the question is, does Louisiana Tech have the defense to slow down the Mustangs? And I agree with both Big Man and Drew that they do. Louisiana Tech's pass defense tied for 53rd in the nation. Drew talked about Jalen Ferguson, and Jalen Ferguson was not in the lineup for that trouncing by Florida Atlantic when they put up 48 points on La Tech. Their secondary is good too. Cedric Cooper and freshman Amik Roberts are very good. They allowed 7 yards per pass attempt, only 215.8 yards a game. They allowed just 16 TDs through the air, and were tied for 11th in the nation with 16 picks. And SMU, like Big Man said, is terrible defensively. And Louisiana Tech just has to keep them on the field as long as possible. It's a pretty simple coaching situation where you just want this SMU defense to get tired and be out there as long as possible. And sophomore quarterback Jamar Smith is capable of doing that. Teddy Veal and him have a nice little combination going. Boston Scott is a 5'6", 203-pound fucking bulldog. Ran 163 times for 937 yards, 8 TDs. Jamar can move outside the pocket and pick up some yards when they need him. He ran for 356 yards this year. I think the play is Louisiana Tech. I understand why the line has moved in that direction. A lot of question marks hanging over SMU and their coaching staff. I think Louisiana Tech is the play. I wouldn't even take them to cover. I would take them to win outright and get the plus money.
Here, I also didn't hear your analysis, Jimmy the Bag, and I got to be honest, I'm a little bit less confident that that was as awesome analysis as a big man and Drew Martin. No, I'm kidding around. I can guarantee you that that analysis was just exactly on par with big man's analysis and Drew Martin's analysis. But now I believe that the audio is fixed, so now I'm going to be able to hear what you guys have to say. But since I have no idea what you said in all of your segments, why don't we start with this? Big man, why don't you respond to some key points that either Drew Martin made or Jimmy the Bag made that you either disagree with or that you think you particularly agree with?
I got to tell you, I agree with a lot of the points everyone's made here. I think La Tech is, look, I think the public will bet SMU. I think they'll put away with, they're not going to do probably the deep research where they're looking into even knowing that G.J. Kinney is the offensive coordinator. They just see that the coaches are there and they're hoping that the interim people will come in and do the right thing there. But I actually agree with what Jimmy says as far as them able to run the ball here. La Tech's going to run the ball. They're going to try to control the clock. The biggest defense to keep SMU is keep them off the field. If they can control the clock, you're going to be able to run the ball in SMU. They're 112th in the country against the run, giving up over 5 yards a carry. The key in this game is limit throwing the football. But when you throw the football, you should have success because SMU can't stop anybody. Jamar Smith isn't Ryan Higgins. He's not Jeff Driscoll, but he is a decent quarterback that I think if they need a third down conversion, he can get that also with his legs as well. So, yeah, I like the better defense here. I like the team that hasn't had to deal with all the distractions. And Skip Holtz is a pretty decent bowl coach. So I agree with what everybody said here. Got to run the ball if you're La Tech.
All right, so I just did hear the last little bit of that, and I heard you saying that SMU can't stop anyone, which is certainly an interesting point. I don't know what the context was. Certainly an interesting point. Drew Martin, sounds like you guys, when I couldn't hear what you were saying, we're all in agreement. You're all liking Louisiana Tech here? Is that what I'm gleaning from the few sentences I just heard?
Well, Pete, I don't necessarily disagree with Jimmy or BMOC on Louisiana Tech. You know, when I first looked at this game, saw the Frisco Bowl when it first came out, I kind of liked SMU from the get-go. But I do respect Skip Holtz as a coach more so than Sonny Dykes off of 9 days preparation time with SMU. I think Sonny Dykes going forward in the future is a great fit here, but it really shouldn't be factored in for this bowl game. Skip Holtz on I believe a 3-game bowl winning streak, which I know it's a short sample size, but bowl games, that kind of stuff matters a lot. So his preparation time, I do bring it in. And I just think they bring up good points as far as Louisiana Tech being able to run the ball and even throw the ball. Although I think throwing the ball is going to be hindered just because Louisiana Tech's quarterback isn't very good. He's not very accurate. So I think they are going to keep the ball on the ground, keep that clock rolling. And Sonny Dykes, not a lot of preparation time. It's going to kind of be disfigured in their preparation offensively. I think the clock keeps turning, and I think this stays under 72, Pete.
Okay, that's interesting. I did hear all that, Drew Martin. Now I'm engaged in this conversation. I'll tell you what I was thinking about this one. I kind of agree with you. I'm not sure. I didn't bet the under, and I'm not sure I'm going to, but I was kind of leaning that way just because of the expected game plan that we can expect from Louisiana Tech, which is a lot of running. And I was also thinking, at first I was thinking maybe a lean to Louisiana Tech when the line was +5 because of the coaching change and all that, and also because, you know, the bowl is being played close to home for SMU, and maybe that's good for the fans, so maybe the players are hoping that the bowl will be in a more exciting locale, and maybe they're a little bit disappointed with this. But now I'm starting to think that maybe because of the the coach, the offensive players being in charge of the offense, and the defense may be looking to step it up, maybe the players will be a little bit more motivated in this one. And I think that down for down, score for score, Louisiana Tech is going to have a hard time keeping up with SMU. Now I'm actually leaning SMU, and it is down to 3.5 at Bookmaker. And I was thinking about making that a play, actually. If it was 3, I think I'd definitely take it. And I'm thinking about betting this one at 3.5 or 4. What would you say to that analysis, big man?
Yeah, listen, this is a tough bowl game because there's a lot of things that are going into what's going on here. I just think for La Tech, the goal is going to be keep the football on the ground, keep the ball out of SMU's hands. And look, we could talk about Jamar Smith not being a great quarterback. look, Ben Davis is only has a 58% completion percentage. He's good, but again, La Tech's a pretty good pass defense. So for me, I don't hate your argument. I definitely I'm not getting the best number with La Tech. I could have got a better one, but bowls are all about situations, they're all about coaches, what's going on around the program. There's a lot of pressure on SMU. This is their first bowl game in many years with a new coach. I mean, you have G.J. Kinney as your offensive coordinator. This is a guy that, like Jimmy said, he made a great point. If he was so great, why wasn't he grabbed along with everyone else? The problem here also is defensively, SMU is terrible. They're not bad, they're terrible. I think this game comes down to the wire. It should be a pretty good game, but I'm definitely not getting the best of the number, which hurts my cause, surely.
All right, so as far as differentiating between, well, actually at the Greek still has a plus 4.5, minus 115. So as far as official picks versus leans, big man, what would is there a play here that you would want to put as an official pick, or would you want to just keep it as a lean?
I have no problem giving an official pick on every game that we discuss here on the bowl preview. I'm going to go with La Tech here. I'm going to take the 4 points. It didn't work out last night taking the underdog for me. That was just a mess. But I'm going to take the dog here. I think they keep this one close on the ground with some good defense.
Okay, well, again, we do line shop here for all of our official picks at SBRodds.com, and the Greek does have 4.5, minus 115. So Big Men on Campus recommending a play on Louisiana Tech, plus 4.5, minus 115. Drew Martin, you want to make any pick official here or just give a lean?
Well, Pete, I guess I got a question for you. I mean, I was going into this that we're making a pick on every game. If we're not, I guess that would change things. How are we grading this?
I'm sorry? I guess you always have to have the opportunity to pass. So you can give, if you want to make an official pick, we'll track that as a record. If you want to just give an opinion but consider it to be a pass, then you can do that as well. So you don't have to give an official pick, but if you do, that's what we track.
Ah, fuck it. It's the opening show. Yeah, I'm making it official. Under 72 at Bovada. Okay,
unfortunately, we don't use Bovada lines for exactly that reason, but we can give you a 71.5, minus 110. That's a market line everywhere else. Is that okay for you, Drew?
Yeah, what is this? This is news to me. We can't use Bovada lines?
No, we cannot use Bovada lines, Drew Martin, because we don't consider them to be market numbers. Although, obviously, if you can play at Bovada, you should absolutely bet into their lines when they have the best line available. But we cannot use Bovada lines. We only use intentionally off-market numbers in pro books like the Greek and like Pinnacle, where you can bet those in perpetuity. But Bovada, we do not use Bovada. All those awesome records that you see in my shows are not using Bovada lines or 5 dimes lines, believe it or not, Drew Martin.
All right, so what, I'm going to have to be locked into 71.5 at Bet
Online? 71.5, minus 110, Drew Martin.
Wait, what Wager Web, I'm seeing 72 right now. Does that count?
Nope. I mean, we could use it. Here's what we use. We use Pinnacle, Heritage Full Juice, Bookmaker, Bet Online, The Greek, Intertops, UWager, and Bet365.
Drew's about to ask
hey man,
if we
I'm
can use
fighting
local.
this half a point. What about Jazz? Can I
Look
use
at this.
Jazz?
Drew's fighting for that half point. I like that. That is a sign of a serious handicapper there. What about, all right, Drew Martin, we'll make an exception for you this time. We will fucking give you 72. How about that, Drew?
No, hey, I don't want any exceptions. I don't want any exceptions. I want to know.
You got to be confident, Drew, in your pick. Come on.
If it lands on 72, I'm line shopping, big man.
That's right. All right, we will give you 72 if you want it, but with the books that I use, it would be 71.5 minus 110.
Well, then I'm going 71.5 minus 110.
All right, and Jimmy the Bag, you want to give an official pick here or a lean?
I do want to give an official pick. I think this is a game that you can simplify. Skip Holtz has won 3 straight bowl games. Louisiana Tech had to win their last 2 games to even have an opportunity to play in a bowl game. Situations where they couldn't afford to lose. Skip Holtz knows how to win, and when you come into these big games, you always want to have the team with the better defense, and it's an enormously huge difference in defense here. Now, yes, Ben's last 3 games, he threw at least 4 TDs in all of them. The offense scored at least 40 points in each game. I do not expect to see that happening tonight. I think that, like Big Man said, the most important factor in this game is keeping the SMU offense off the field and tiring out their terrible defense. Skip Holtz knows what he's doing, knows how to win big games. I'm confidently going to take La Tech and the 4.5 points.
Okay, plus 4.5, minus 115. I am not going to bet this game personally, but just to join the party, I will give a pick, not a lean, an official pick, and I will be a little contrarian. When I first looked at this game, I thought Louisiana Tech at plus 5 was the way I was leaning. I didn't bet that one, but now I will take SMU minus 3.5. That's the line right now at Bookmaker, minus 3.5, minus 110. I'll go against you guys. I'm just thinking that score for score, series for series, at some point Louisiana Tech is going to fall behind. I think that SMU will be motivated to get a nice little comfortable win here, with the coach out, doing it for themselves, with the new coach in, watching from the sidelines, and the offensive players running the offense themselves. So I will go head-to-head against you guys. I'll take SMU minus 3.5. So we got our official picks. Big Man on Campus and Jimmy the Bag, both liking Louisiana Tech plus 4.5, minus 115. I'm going to take SMU minus 3.5 at Bookmaker. And, of course, if this lands on 4, we all cash. And Drew Martin, liking the under, he's going to take 71.5 minus 110. And if this one lands on 72, he's going to be seriously annoyed and pissed. But thank you so much for Drew Martin for only using the books that we feel comfortable using. And that's our preview of the Frisco Bowl. We will be back tomorrow doing this all again, hopefully with much better audio at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. I apologize for the audio issues, and I'm sure they will be fixed tomorrow. Thanks to our panel for giving a great breakdown of this bowl. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.